in the latter part of your book, you start to touch on mobile media, mobile marketing. It's interesting because at the same time I was reading your book, I was also working on a project where I had to research every single mobile marketing company. I had to say that I was really impressed with Hyperfactory's Motorola Say Goodbye campaign, which I'm sure you've seen, and the United Nations Voices campaigns. What have you seen recently as a true embrace of the mobile medium?
Most of the stuff that I've seen, I think, really is about how brands use the platform to more effectively untether their content, brands, products, or services to people. And one of the ones that I really liked in the book was the Dolce & Gabbana mobile channel, which I don't even know if it's live. I think it is. And you would think it's going to be about couponing or like SMS messaging, and it's not. It's just pictures from runways and stories and little things. And I loved it because it was a way for a person who's on the subway to stay deeply engaged with the Dolce & Gabbana brand and have access to content that you're not traditionally, let's say, seeing on maybe necessarily the website, as it were. I believe there's a big home hardware retailer in the U.S. that is responsible for the Level app for the iPhone, so you can level your pictures and stuff. I love that, right? You can't hold your laptop or CPU up to the wall and balance it to get a level going. But again, understanding what the iPhone can do in the App Store and using the gyration tool and the GPS tool and to give people applications on mobile that they could never do anywhere else. That's really what I love. I love the 1 + 1 = 11, not 2 model, where people add value to whatever it is they're doing by using the device or platform for what it specifically does great. And we're seeing a lot of that now with augmented reality. So like the Yelp application for the iPhone is amazing. You're in New York City, you fire up the app, and you literally point it at hotels and restaurants, and it's giving you the thumbs up or down, literally, on the screen. I love that because that isn't something you could really do on a laptop or on a computer. And think about where we are as people and individuals and how you'd want to engage with brands. The other brand I talk about in the book is Snaptel, where you can take a picture with your iPhone of a product. In this case, I think it's primarily books, and the OCR is able to tell you what the book is. Once the book comes out, you're seeing all the prices for it, all different retailers, all the reviews. You can even use the GPS functionality to see how close you may be to a store that has it in stock, and you sort of start seeing this thing, and it sort of is the germ for the second book that I'm just starting now. The working title is The Great Untethering, where I don't even know if it's about mobile or the web anymore. I think it's just about connectivity and being connected. And I think that that's going to be some of the dramatic changes we're going to see now. Sears is doing some great experiments with their Sears To Go platform and stuff like that too.
Maybe about 10 minutes before I called you, I was reading about Daniel Johnson's new iPhone app. And I know that you're a big fan of music. Daniel Johnson's new iPhone app, if you haven't seen it, is a video game, which is all his own cartoon drawings and comic books, having worked with him in recording studio before. And it's just this perfect coming together of him. In the middle of recording a record for Daniel Johnson, you would take not a coffee break, but a comic book store break. And you'd have to run to the comic book store with him to buy comics because he had finished his stack for that day. Here you have, this great artist as a musician and folk artist, actual physical medium as well, of drawing and painting, creating a video game with other people to then sell on the iPhone App Store for $1, entitled his latest record as Hi, How Are You? I just really see that quite as what you're saying, this sort of untethering. It's not really selling anything other than just this beautiful thing of who he is as a person.
It's so funny to hear you talk about it because, I think you and I come from a similar generation of how natural and normal this feels. Imagine if you were to pop like Paul Simon into this conversation 7 years ago, what he would say. Because it's so crazy that we're saying that, but doesn't it make total sense that a musician would have an iPhone app that's comic books, right? It's like the most insane sort of like random ravings of a lunatic that you could possibly have, Jesse, right? But that's the true beauty of what we're seeing. When people ask, I'm going to tie it into another concept, because a lot of people ask me, like, why are publishers and newspapers in particular having so much trouble in the online space? And the answer is the story you just told of Daniel Johnson. The newspaper industry is trying to copy and paste their text onto the web, and they want people to get excited and pay for it.
Right.
And what Daniel Johnson is saying is, listen, if you like music, I've got CDs. If you've got like live music, I've got shows. If you like T-shirts, I've got some merch for you. If you like the digital channel, me being an artist, I have to give you something that you can't get somewhere else. It's pretty, pretty basic. And so it is humorous, it's funny, and it's scary. And what I hope people get if they listen to this is that they'll say, listen, there's a couple things that can happen here. One is I can stay the course, and I quote in my book, another book, which is by Tom Peters, a great book called Reimagine, where he quotes General Shinseki from the U.S. Army, who says, if you don't like change, you're going to like irrelevance even less. And it really, I always try and focus on that, because the choices really are that, it's sort of like, look, we can stay the course and see how this works out, or we can understand that in a world where any individual can have an idea, print images, audio, text, whatever it might be, and publish it instantly to the world. I mean, building traffic is a whole other issue, but the ability to do that is brand spanking new. That is a wildly, dramatically changing thing that you, and no matter how cool people think they are, have yet to really understand the huge ramifications of that.
The newspapers are following more of this paradigm, like illegal power, where they say, if we want things to stay the same, we're gonna have to make some changes around here.
You got to send me that quote, Jesse, by email after. That's amazing.
Definitely, I will.